Hey everybody, welcome back. We are headed to do a hammock camp. It's about 70 degrees outside, end of March. So I've never done any hammock camping, so this should be a good time. I've got some new gear we're gonna try out, and I've got about a half hour to get to where I'm going, and I'll bring you back then. Thanks for joining me. All right, so I made it. We are at Jackson-Washington State Forrest, just outside of Brownstown, Indiana. I've already got my site picked out. Like I said, we're going to be doing hammock camping, so I've been going around making sure that I've got the right size trees and proper distance spaced apart. We're already paid up, $13 a night. Yeah, I'll give you a look around. Whoa. And surprisingly enough, I do have just a little bit of phone service. I do have some neighbors. They're down here camping, but they're a couple sites away, but here it is. So on the agenda next, like I said, I've got a new hammock. There's some things I don't like about it, and I'll show you that. So we're gonna change some stuff up on it before I set it up. And yeah, we're just gonna relax and have a good time. One thing I forgot to mention is we are truck camping, but I'm doing this as if I was hiking and camping so I can try out all my gear. So everything I brought with me is in my pack. I did bring a little bit of extra stuff just to make it a little bit more leisurely. Like I am out here to have fun, but everything essential is in my pack that I need, plus some extras, and then I brought a few more things that are going to stay in the truck in case I want them. But we'll see how it goes, and we'll play it by ear. But I did bring some firewood and a camp chair and a fire pit. But as of right now, the wind is blowing way too much to have a fire, especially in this pine thicket. So, but everything else is in my bag, and I will break it out and show it to you here in just a little bit. Okay, so here's my pack. This is the Nevo Rhino 45+5. There's enough stuff in this pack for me to hike and camp 3 days. And everything that I need to camp is in this pack. Like I said, I did bring some extras just because this is a leisurely trip, and it's my first time out, so we're just gonna see how it goes. I do have some pretty large trees around me, and I think I've got a pretty good distance here or there for a hammock. So yeah, should be good. This is a primitive site. There's no running water, there's no electric. There is porta potties way over there if you can see them. But yeah, so this was the purpose. I wanted to come out here and act like that and have it feel as close to possible as if I was hiking on a trail and gonna be camping for the night. So I wanted the primitive, I wanted no electric, no water. So I brought everything with me in that pack. Okay, so in my pack, I've got 2 liters of water, I've got a camp chair, I've got an iClimb small table, first aid kit, and that's everything that's on the outside of the pack. Right now I'm just going around looking to see which 2 trees are going to be the best to hang my hammock from. And I'm thinking there and there, or here to here. There's another option here to there, but that's a pretty good distance, so I could go here to there, but I'm really liking those 2. And with the way the wind's blowing, it's coming in from the west, and that would, well, no, because I kind of want my tarp. I don't know, I'm still thinking, I'm talking out loud here. So everything is in the pack. I'm getting ready to pull it out and go over it with you, so I'll bring you back. Okay, so I'm going to bring the pack over here and I will go through it with you. I did forget something that I brought with me that's on the outside of my pack. I've got my thermometer and a whistle. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on and get it reading the correct temperature. Right now it says 71, but that's because it's been in the truck. So we'll get that recording the temperature, and now we'll go through this. In the top here, I've got all my electronics. I got battery pack, lights, weather band radio, stuff like that. And I'm sorry about the wind, but I can't help it. And then in the very top, I've got my food bag. There's enough in there for, I know I said 3 days earlier, but I actually think I only brought enough food for 2 days. So I'll go through this later on. I've got my titanium cup, 450 mil. I've got my fire maple 1 liter burner with pot. I've got my rope bag. That's got, normally I take this when I'm just using a tarp. That's got everything in there to string a tarp up and put guy lines out, stuff like that. Don't know if I'll be needing it, but I brought it just in case. Like I said, I'm using a brand new hammock, so, and there's some things on there that I want to change, so that might come into play. Water filter, don't need it, but I'm packing it because this is the pack that I would take if I was doing a hike and a camp all in the same day. Fire kit. Here comes the new piece of gear. So this is a budget-friendly hammock with bug net and tarp system. I think it's about 2.5 pounds for the hammock and maybe 2 pounds for the tarp. It's a little heavy, but it is budget. I think I spent 60 bucks on this on Amazon. I have set it up, everything works, everything looks good. The seams on the tarp are all seam taped. As far as the guy lines go, those could use some work. That's why I brought the rope and everything, and that's my biggest gripe about it is some of the guy lines and how they're ran. So we're gonna redo that before we move on. But here's the hammock that'll be setting up here in just a little bit. Here's the tarp, sunnier again, it's a whole setup. And here's the guy lines with tent stakes, really cheap chintzy tent stakes. I've got to do some work on this before we set it up, as far as changing the guy line, and I'll show you in detail here in just a little bit. And I think that's it for the main compartment. In the bottom of my pack here, I've got my 20-degree down sleeping bag. It was forecasted to get down to in the mid-60s and go to the mid-70s. I checked it before I came out here, and that's changed, go figure. Luckily, I did change my sleeping bag out before I came here because I had a really small summer sleeping bag packed before I came down. I changed it out because I wanted to fit what I would normally be taking camping with me in this bag. So there's a 20-degree down sleeping bag in here. This has a special sleeping bag compartment, and that's where it's at right now, but it's under this and it's all strapped in right now, and I'm not going to take it out. So I'm going to leave the hammock and stuff out, put this stuff all back up, and I'll get back with you. I'm going to go ahead and take this tarp out of the bag, and I'll show you the one thing I don't like about it. So I've got it in the OD green. It comes with all the guy lines and everything like that. I've never tested this out in any type of weather or severe weather. There's none forecasted for this trip, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. But one thing I don't like is how they ran the what is it called? The one thing I don't like about it is how they ran the ridge line. So the ridge line on this tarp is ran outside on top of the tarp. I want to change that up, and I want to run it underneath the tarp on the inside so I can hang stuff from it while I'm in my hammock. So I'm going to focus on doing that. I do believe this is like a 10 by 12 tarp. I don't know, I'll have to get back with you on that. I'm not real for sure, honestly, I can't remember. But I'm gonna change out this guy line. Also, the other thing I don't like is these plastic line tensioners. They are garbage. They don't move. They suck. So I may be changing those out. I brought some with me. They're in the truck. I may be changing those out as well. But right now I'm gonna get it set up and change out the ridge line for sure. And we'll go from there once I get this mess all figured out. So I went to my truck and I got the line tensioners that I brought with me to change out because I knew I was going to be doing this. These are aluminum, red anodized aluminum. I bought these on Amazon. I think I got like 20 of them for 10 bucks. So we're going to change out those plastic ones for these aluminum ones. So I was going to show you changing these out, but it's so windy right now. I'm really having to fight this tarp. And the strings are all in a mess, so I'm just going to do this off camera and I'll bring you back when we're changing out the ridge line. So now with this tarp all laid out, I was wrong earlier. My other tarp at home is a 10 by 12. This tarp here seems to be a 9 by 9 or a 10 by 10, which is plenty enough for just one hammock and hanging out underneath, especially when I'm not expecting any weather. So we're getting there. I've got all these plastic junk ones taken off right now, so I'm gonna finish changing them all out for those red ones and I'll bring you back. Okay, so all 4 guy lines are changed out. Now we're gonna do the ridge line. I'm gonna take it, as you can see, I think they run it across the top of the tarp and I do not like that. So I'm actually gonna run it underneath and I'm gonna use Prussics and some small carabiners to be able to stretch this, because right now they've got me using those junk plastic clips and I do not like that. So I'm going to run Prussics on this line tied to these clips. That way I can slide this tarp wherever I want on the ridge line. So I've got to go cut some paracord, burn the ends of it, get it tied up into Prussics, and I brought some small carabiners with me. And I brought some spare paracord, so we're gonna do that now. Like I said, this is a budget system, so I wasn't expecting it to be perfect, and there's definitely some things that need to be changed. So we're gonna change them with some really easy and cheap fixes that should make it 10 times better. Okay, so just for this reason, I brought this whole bag of stuff. I got some paracord, some Dayglow paracord, some camo paracord, some small carabiners, and some other miscellaneous stuff that we might need later. Just because I knew I was going to be doing some fixes. So my plan is, I'm going to take some pieces of this Dayglow green paracord, maybe, I don't know, 12 inches long, well, maybe 24 inches long, and we're going to make a loop out of it, and then we're going to tie it together and make a Prussic loop. That should be plenty big enough. So I'm going to do that for 2 of them. So we're going to cut it. Knife needs sharpened, that's for sure. We're going to try and burn the ends of it here in the wind. At home I've got a rope cutter. I thought about cutting this before I came, but I didn't. Ha! All right, one more time. This is interesting. I don't know if you heard that or not, but someone just went by and said good luck on your video. All right, that's not working, so we're gonna cut this off again. Oh, that knife needs sharpened bad. All right, I'm having technical issues. I'll bring you back. All right, so that was done. Just to cut those two ropes. That was a real pain in the you-know-what and get the ends of them burnt. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just do a square knot. Right over left, left over right. I'm gonna pull that tight. Now we've got a prusik loop. I'm gonna do that for both of them. Make them tight, and there we go. And now I just got to connect some carabiners to it, connect it to that string down there, and we should be good to go. Okay, so I've got the string out, and I can actually do this now while I hang the ridge line. And then, because before you could not hang your tarp without your ridge line, you had to hang it all together, and it was a real pain in the butt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie my ridge line off, get it tight, and then throw my tarp up over top of it, and I'll be able to connect it using the prusiks I make and put on the ridge line up here. So that's the theory anyways. So I'm going to get you moved over there so you can watch me do that. So I think I've decided I'm going to use this tree and this tree. It's a pretty good distance. It may not work. I've only set this hammock up one time, so we're gonna see. If I have to move trees, I'll move trees, but this will at least let me get my ridge line set up the way I want it, and then I can move it later if I need to. I'm gonna be using these Night Eyes cam locks to tighten the ridge line. I've used these before on my canopy on my camper to tie it down, and it works great. So I think they're rated for 300 to 400 pounds, I think. I don't remember honestly, but anyways, it works great on paracord, so I'm going to use one of those to tighten the ridge line up. So I'm going to get it hung up and show you how this works. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tie it around the tree as high up as I can. Okay, I'm gonna get this set up and I'll bring you back. Okay, so that was a little bit of a pain, but what I ended up doing was putting a bow line down here, wrapping it around the tree. It's a little bit off center, but it'll be all right. Then I came down here, wrapped it around this tree, and used that cam lock, just like that. So now that's stretched up tight and ready to go. I'm going to put my prusik loops on. So the way you do that is you take this, make sure that this knot is on the side, take it. I hope you're seeing this. Are you seeing this? Yeah, which you're staring up at the sun, so good luck. Take it and you run it through once, run it through twice, run it through 3 times. You can run it through as many times as you want. The more times you run it through, the more friction you get. And then you're gonna dress it. And there's your prusik. So now you can pull on it either way you want and slide it all at the same time. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted. So now I'm gonna put this carabiner on there. And then this carabiner is gonna attach to my tarp. Oops, I missed. Just like so. And now I can take that, slide it, and move my entire tarp down or up depending on where my hammock is. So I'm gonna do that to the other side, and then we're gonna put the tarp on. Okay, so now you guys get to watch me try and put this tarp on by myself in the wind. Should be good. Alright, so that went easier than expected. It's still loose right now, but I can just take those prusiks, move them out, and it should be good. Oh boy, we got a sail in the wind, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Alright, that's good and tight. So now I gotta get a tarp down, or stake down, which should be fun. I'm gonna stake it out kind of high right now, so that way I can still see out. There's no rain expected, so we should be okay. These stakes that they sent, yeah, they're lightweight, but I'm pretty sure I could break one with my bare hands, so I'm not gonna do that. I brought spares just in case though. Of course the wind would blow at this time. Well, here we go. Holy. The worst wind gust we've had all day, and it's right now. That's my luck. Are we done? Are you done? Nope, not done. Oh my. Yeah. We're gonna get a test out of it. Here we go. Come on, wind. Work with me. Alright, let's try this again. I just need to get it staked out a little bit. Come here. I'll mess with the setup once we get it all staked out a little bit better, but right now I'm just trying to keep it from blowing in the wind. Ah! Ah, nothing's working right. I'll adjust it later. I just need to get it so we're not blowing in the wind. There we go. Oh boy. Huh. There we go. All right, last corner. Tarp is set up. Now I just gotta move you guys and readjust this one leg. With it being so windy, I'm gonna go ahead and stake out all 6 stakeout points because I don't trust those stakes, number 1. Number 2, it's windy. Okay, so update. I'm glad I brought extra stakes because this kit came with 6 guy lines but only 4 stakes. So just know that if you go for the Sun Year camping hammock, you need to add some stakes and probably just change them all out, get better ones. But we're testing the gear that came in the package. That's the whole point of this trip, to see if you can get it out of the box and go camping with it. So who knows? They might snap off, they might bend, I don't know. So I've got some okay-ish stakes that came with another tent that I've got. Still not very good, but we're gonna try them. All right, so here we are looking at the tarp. Next thing I'm gonna do is set up my hammock. I couldn't get it any higher than this, so it could be interesting. I could be sleeping on the ground, I don't know. Okay, so as I said earlier, this hammock came with a bug net. It's already attached. It also came with hammock tree straps. So I'm going to put those on, and I've already messed up. I've guyed this thing out already because of the wind, and I did not take into consideration where my hammock's going to go, so it's really going to be dependent on me adjusting the hammock and not the tarp like I wanted. So a little bit of a bummer, but we'll be all right. So I'm going to do the one behind you guys, and then I'll go to that end and do it. Okay, there's one. Time to go to the other end and do it. Pro tip, don't look up when you're doing that. There's 2. Now, this bag is connected to the hammock, so I don't have to worry about losing it. That's lovely. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this, get it about where I want it. I want the ends just to be under the tarp. We're gonna see if that'll work. I can stand up in here just fine, but right in the middle. Okay, time for number 2. And we're in. Now hopefully I don't fall on the ground, or hopefully it doesn't go straight to the ground when I try to get in. Meaning, I need to move this one. I don't know. I'm on my 30 degrees. Alright, let's set in, see what happens. Here we go. Okay, so I put this up backwards, meaning I can only get in on the right side, or well, on this side with the bag on it. So I'm going to switch it around. That way I can get out towards my truck. There we go. Now, which strap was that in? That one? Looks about right. Let's try it out. First thing I'm going to do, actually, this is another reason I wanted my ridge line on the inside, because this bug net hangs from your ridge line. That way it stays off your face. And the way they had it before, you couldn't do that. This might be a little too tall, I don't know. Let's see. Alright, here we go. I think that's about perfect. I'm happy. Nothing fell, I didn't fall, nothing ripped. I think we're good. Oh. I think that's just the straps breaking in. Like I said, this is only the second time I've ever used this. I will say this, I gotta adjust this bug net some more. All right, we're golden. I'm gonna relax for a little bit and I'll bring you back. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm actually gonna take this string that the bug net came with and I'm gonna tie this up like this. Just like so. I'm gonna do this. Actually, I don't need to use this. I don't need to use the string that the bug net came with because this ridge line's on the inside now. I'm so glad I did that. Highly recommend, if you are going to get this, to change it to where the ridge line's on the inside. Perfect. Now I'm going to go get my camp chair and my pack and we're going to sit down. like I said, I'm trying to make this as if we were out in the woods because I'm testing all this stuff, and I didn't want to hike, you know, 5 miles in and set this up and it had a catastrophic failure in the middle of the night. So worst case scenario, I've got my truck, I'll climb in it if this fails in the middle of the night, but other than that, we're acting like we're in the middle of the woods. All right, let's go get the pack. All right, and we're down. Okay, temperature update. It's 71 degrees out, according to my thermometer. First thing I'm going to do is take this chair out and get it. This is honestly, I bought this off of AliExpress or Alibaba or whatever. It's not perfect, but they were cheap, and this is budget gear. So it works. I have used this one before in other videos. Windy out here. Holy cow. Did not realize it was supposed to be this windy. One thing I can say is I lost one of the ends. If I need to, I can always pitch this down farther that brings up some more wind, but with 71 degrees, I'm fine with that. The breeze is actually kind of nice. Okay, chair. Oh, here we go. We're golden. All right, I'm going to chill for a little bit. It's 3:45. I think I got out here at 1:30. Had to do some changes, some good changes that I'm happy with. I'm glad I did those. It should make setting this up in the future so much easier. So, pants I have on could become shorts if I feel the need. But right now, the wind blowing through here, I think we're great. So, I'm gonna turn you guys off and I'm gonna sit here and relax. Okay, so last time I left you, we just got done setting up and I brought everything over, set up the chair. Now I'm gonna take you on just a little hike. I'm gonna go show you the lake that's right over there. Like I said, we're in Jackson-Washington State Forrest, just outside of, I don't know if I did say this actually, we're just outside of Brownstown, Indiana. I've been here multiple times for some day hikes, and I usually camp at another campground state park really close to here. So this is my first time camping here, but not my first time here. So I'm gonna take you up over by the lake, and I'll bring you back when we get closer. So this loop on the campground, there's actually 2 loops. There's this one, and then there's back there. This is one of, I think, 3 loops out here at this campground, or at this park. They do have water faucets in certain locations, but I don't know if they're on yet. There's no plumbing, so it's just pit toilets. But there's a whole network of trails out here, and I've hiked most of them, and they're all pretty nice. So I'm going to take you up to the lake, and I'll show you around there. All right, so we're coming up to the lake here, the dam. multiple day sites for fishing and having a barbecue. You can see some of the other campers over there on the other side maybe. This park actually has the highest peak in Jackson County, Indiana at 981 feet. And trail number 2 takes you right over top of it. So you get some pretty good, you get a pretty good workout hiking these out here. Like I said, I've hiked them multiple times, but there's a few shelter houses you can reserve, multiple fishing spots. I don't know how good the fishing is out here. I see people out here fishing all the time, but I don't know how good it is. And we got a nice little bridge over the spillway. And there is a trail that meanders back along this, along the back side of the lake here, and it's all pretty much gravel like that. Not all the trails are like this though. So it's a nice place, especially when it's not busy. Like I said, there's no powered sites or anything like that, so this one isn't usually full. Every time I've been back here, it's never been completely full, but there are quite a few people that come out here. So all right, we're gonna hike back to the site and see what we can get into. So as we approach the site here, you can see it, and there's pretty good spacing between all these sites, more than you would get at a state park for the most part. But there's the truck, there's the site, there's the tarp still hanging, and no visitors yet, or no neighbors, which I'm really happy about. I'm really nervous that someone's going to show up and park right next to me and, you know, get their generator out and start firing up their TV and stuff like that. But so far, so good.